Sonoma County. Here in Sonoma County we have one landfill and 5 transfer stations, and all the transfer stations bring their stuff here. We have a contract with Sonoma County to run the recycling services here and at Hillsburg Transfer Station. The name of the company I work for is Garbage Reincarnation, and that's what we do. And my name is Pavitra Crimmel, and I run this particular project. And this is where we actually run into this absurdity of the way people invent new things and make other things obsolete. So we used to have wood windows. Everybody had wood windows in their house, and then it wasn't cool to have wood windows. You needed aluminum windows. So everybody took out their wood windows and put in aluminum windows, and then the aluminum windows weren't any good. You need double glazed. And then you needed safety, and now they'll go into triple glazed, right? Now they've discovered that the aluminum in the aluminum windows is the most energy inefficient thing you could put in a window, because it conducts heat all the way out of the window. So now maybe they'll stop putting in wood windows where they used to have them. So we have a series of them. You come along here and you'll see wood windows are completely unrecyclable. They are only reusable. So we love selling them. And we have a lot of creative builders here in Sonoma County. They build unbelievable things. There's a guy that made a fence out of shower glass doors. I mean, it was beautiful. Or a sauna. I mean, just incredible things. The most common thing they make out of this is greenhouses. Here we have lawnmowers and motor parts and small engines and you name it. And the kinds of people that buy these things from us, I call tinkerers. They're not just like the regular artists who just make art. They're people who see value in things because they know how things move and how things generally work. And they can make whole machines out of these things. They can make things that function out of things that don't function by taking different pieces and gluing them, sticking them, and welding them together. And these people, when they look at things, they really look at things. I mean, people don't look at things anymore. People are in their heads, like they're dreaming. They're not here in this world. But the tinkerers, like, they walk around like this, I mean, they really look at things. They have this attention. They have this energy about valuing what is right in front of them. And these people are the ones that have inspired me for the last 10 years. I've been doing this for 10 years, and they keep me coming back again and again. This is appliances here. There's always a lot of appliance repair dealers. This appears to be a real good business. They make a lot of money, and people throw a lot of appliances away. These days, white goods have gotten a lot of notoriety because they have a lot of hazardous elements in them. The refrigerators have CFCs in them, and all of these have PCBs and stuff like that, mercury switches. So we are currently working on a program to get all that done. As it is right now, we sell as much for reuse as we can, and the rest gets baled up for scrap metal and sent to Japan to be made into Hondas. Many of the landfills are owned by garbage companies who absolutely do not want reuse happening. They don't know how to deal with people. They don't know how to deal with the complexity of it. This is a generalization. And then the counties or the cities that own landfills, they're very scared that they're going to look like a mess. They think it's going to just be ugly and a pile of junk. And so having me here, and I don't look like I got 2 teeth or anything. I'm fairly eloquent. I am able to present the case of the people who like junk in a manner in which the bureaucrats can listen to. And they are actually loving what I do now. And later on we'll talk about the paint exchange, which is one of the main reasons they love me these days. But what we're proving to the county by doing it and putting it all together is that reuse makes sense economically. I mean, apart from its social value and all the wonderful fun things that it does, it makes more sense. You make a lot of money on reuse. So we work hard on categorizing things. As you see here, we have typewriters that are all together. Those things over there, the lawnmowers are all together. You can see the washing machines are all together. The building materials are all together. When things are categorized and they're organized, then people who think in those terms can recognize what they're looking at. And so they go, oh, okay, you can do it. But it's been an uphill battle for a long time. I mean, we've just made it through the other side. Now they're excited about it. Now they think we're fantastic. But that's really the main obstacle to overcome in setting up a reuse yard, is an attitude. It's the same attitude people have toward junk. You know, we've spent billions of dollars in this country persuading people that new is beautiful, you know, and that anything more than 2 years old is ugly, and people have been persuaded, and so they throw it all away. So I'm working the other way around, saying, you know, old is beautiful too, and all this stuff. Now they're really into recycling, because you see, recycling takes it away also. You collect it in a nice container, you paint your container beautiful, and you take your container off, and it happens somewhere else, you know, and we still have our space nice and beautiful. But reuse is right here. Reuse is showing us what we're doing with our stuff, right? Reuse is like hitting us right where it hurts, kind of thing, you know, and that's what I'm here to do. Not that I'm trying to be mean about it or anything, but it's its own education, because here it is. This is what we're throwing away. You know, we've got our computers, and what do we do with this stuff? You know, we've got all these brand new wonderful things. We don't put those two and two together. We think in these linear terms. We think that it just disappears, you know, that because we've got new technology that makes it more wonderful, that the other stuff isn't there. And we don't even connect it up, you know. I mean, you take even a computer. Do we have any computers? Yeah, we do get them, but there doesn't appear to be one here. There's no reason why, if the insides of the computer break, that they couldn't take the shell, the cover of the computer, which is made of plastic. You couldn't take that back to the company and then use it again in another one, but they're not set up that way. They just don't set it up to think about those things. We sell a new product. We sell it brand new, it's beautiful, it's the latest, you know. So they don't think it can still be the newest and beautiful and greatest, and they can still reuse. So that's what we got to think about, because here it all is, you know. Right now, it's the creative and the resourceful people that buy this stuff. And it's fun for the creative and the resourceful people. And every year we have a junk art sculpture competition. We are now going to call it Scrapture. And we're calling it Scrapture because we think that it doesn't just have to be art, it just has to be the love of this stuff, you know, the new look, the new vision. And this year, it is going to inaugurate Recycle Town. I have been telling the county for the last 7 years we don't have enough room here. This whole yard was built to do recycling only. And so this space here is not big enough to do what we really want to do. So they're going to give us another 3 acres over there. And then we will have the entire yard will be built out of recycled materials, including the rock underneath our feet. That will be recycled rock. And in the middle we'll have a sculpture garden, you know, where we will put sculptures on display, and we will have Recycle Town, the general store. It'll be like a Wild West building. We're really excited about it, and the county is really excited about it, which is just incredible. To get these guys really excited is like a mammoth undertaking. And we've succeeded. They're really up for it. Do you want to go look at the paint exchange?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the thing I got in Time magazine about. A couple of weeks ago. Only when I was in Time magazine, we didn't have all these shelves, and he had lights, which you don't have. And here, this is the Great Paint Giveaway. This was another one where they have this big, terrible, awful thing called a hazardous waste, you know, and you're not allowed to do the wrong thing with it, and they've got a big problem, right? And I said, don't worry about it. You know, I'll give away the paint. Oh, you can't do that. They said you don't have a permit. What does it take to get a permit? Well, we're not giving out permits right now, you know, and that started this big trip, you know. And eventually I just said, to hell with you, I'm going to do it anyway, you know. And apparently a bunch of other people did also. And so then they you know, like, how do you, when everybody rebels against you, how do you maintain law and order, you know, when everybody's going, you can't do this? Well, what they did is they backed off, and no longer do you need a RCRA permit to do a paint exchange. You just have a generator license, a generator ID number or something. So we set it up, and we put a little ad in the paper, not an ad, a public service announcement in the TV cameras, you know, did a little slot, and everybody in the world started coming to the paint exchange. I mean, we give away about 400 or 500 gallons of paint a month here, which is a lot. But we do this full reuse yard, and because we do the reuse yard, the people that come up here are very used to taking things, you know, and they don't have the idea that this stuff is nasty, it's just paint. So they come up, they take like 50 gallons of paint at a time. They paint barns, they paint, you know, you name it, a whole 9 yards. And sometimes this paint is, it's like, sometimes it reaches up here, and every single shelf is full. As you see, there's holes in the shelves right now, and you think, God, I'm not going to be able to give it all away, and you know, what am I going to do? Because it really is not legal to throw it away. And then people come along and take it. It's just incredible. We have like a tiny little yard, and if we can't sell it for reuse, we have to put it in the bin. And there's some things that we never sell. For example, right here, this thing right here is a dishwasher. Nobody ever buys dishwashers from us because they're built into a certain space. They don't buy built-in ovens either, because for the same reason. And you know, the people that buy these kinds of things are usually dealers, and they don't want to buy something that has that specific a set of requirements because they have a hard time selling them. So they all go in here, and there's all of this stuff. And we recycled last month probably 350 tons of scrap metal. Now maybe 320 tons of scrap metal. That's not counting what we sold for reuse. It's just the stuff that gets smashed up and sent to, you know, Korea and Japan and sold back as Hondas and Toyotas and stuff. It is incredible. And what's interesting is in the recession, when people start, you know, getting a little more sensible about what they buy, we have more people buying reuse and less of it goes away. So the reuse business, when it's attached to the recycling, can balance either way of the spectrum. When people are, you know, when the economy is really high, you get more money for your recycling. When the economy is really low, you get more money for the reuse. And the two balance each other out just in terms of economics. It's amazing how much technology and how much knowledge is wrapped up in all these things. And it's like you take something as simple as a glass bottle. If you take that glass bottle and you smash it, you haven't just smashed the glass, even if you recycle it. You've smashed all of that knowledge that was put into the glass, all of that arranging of technology to put stuff together to make the glass. You've broken that too. It's even more so when you take a computer. I mean, even if you could have a thing that smashed computers and made more computers, which you can't, but even if you could, look how much is lost in terms of knowledge. And it's the same thing with everything. That's another reason why reuse is so much more exciting. Once you get over the shock of, my God, you know, look what we're throwing away. But you get to learn about how things are made, you know. I used to always take things apart. So when I was first here, I was a real dummy, and I didn't even know how tools worked. So I used to come early in the morning when my fellow workers weren't there. And I'd take things apart, you know, because I didn't know how things were put together, you know, and I was always doing that. And that's how you learn. You learn how to repair things by taking them apart, you know, but we don't do that. So.
Come to Scrapture and the Recycle Town Kickoff, 10 to 3, Saturday, June 27th, 500 Meacham Road, off Stony Point Road South, next door to the dump.